Death Valley days, where Western history comes alive.
Everything and every man has an opposite. The philosophy of the gunfighters and the peace officers of the Old West were a long way apart. But there was one thing they had in common. That was their reliance on guns. Guns of all kinds. There was one man, though, who had a different approach. They called him Bear River Smith, and he won fame in Abilene as the West's first marshal who wore no gun behind his badge.
I'm waiting, boy. Giving you first reach. Go on, grab for it. Get yourself a reputation. Ain't gonna wait more than one more minute, boy. Well, chalk up number 9 for Nate Bender. Anybody here want to make it number 10? Okay, we're all friends. My friends always buy me a drink. How about you starting it off, Mr. Prentice? I didn't hear you. That's what I thought you said. Come on.
Well, he'll try to run the town now.
Not for long, he won't.
Who's going to stop him? The new marshal you hired by telegraph? Seems to me you put too much stock in what you read in the Chicago papers.
If I made a mistake, we can hire somebody else to take his place.
What if he doesn't show up?
Maybe we'll hang the badge on Nate Bender.
That low-down murderer.
That's the only kind that wants to be marshal. Charge the coffin to the Law and Order Committee. Well, you came asking for it, boy. Give me a hand with the body.
You get paid for it. I don't.
Gentlemen. Drink up. It comes from a pump.
I hope I'm around when the pump runs dry.
I said drink up. That's everybody. Now drink.
Pardon me, ma'am. My name is Smith. Thomas J. Smith.
I'm Millie Coe.
Pleased to make your acquaintance, Miss Coe.
What'd you call her?
I called her Miss Coe.
Where did you drop out of?
I'm talking to her.
Oh, a city fella. City dude. I don't like city dudes.
You've been bothering the lady.
Lady? Her? Oh, you don't see so good, do you, mister? Maybe I ought to open up your eyes.
Don't let him crowd you.
You shut up. Yeah. Now go get it. I said go get it. And on your hands and knees. I want to see you crawl.
I don't intend to be your number 10.
Then start crawling.
I don't intend to do that either. Did he come in on one of these?
That's a spin-up.
Get aboard. All right. I was about to ask you, ma'am, when we were interrupted. Could you tell me where I could find a Mr. A.C. Prentice? I'm A.C. Prentice. My name is Smith. Bear River Smith? I've been called that. Well, I'd say the nickname fits. Gents, meet your new town marshal. Hello. Well, how are you, Marshal? And from the way he operates, I'd say he's going to be around for quite a while. Quite a while.
You drop this.
Thank you, ma'am.
Don't you ever quit being polite?
I figure it's about the least expensive habit I know of. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. My room's just down the hall.
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you make it Millie?
Thank you, Millie.
You know, it's a new experience for me being treated like a lady. I guess that's why I woke up worrying about you this morning. You're going to look just fine at your funeral. Next time Nate Bender pulls the trigger, he's not going to be shooting at your hat.
What makes you think there'll be a next time?
Well, we've had 3 marshals in the last 2 months. Sam Steed buried 2 of them, and the other one had sense enough to quit and run while he was still able.
Millie, I really don't think Mr. Smith needs your advice.
No, I guess not. Don't forget to wear this when they bury you.
She gets emotional. They all do.
Oh, who?
Her kind of women.
What kind is that?
Forget it. This is your contract with the Law and Order Committee. It runs for 6 months as of this date. Now, I know you've worn one of these before, but we have a special kind of situation here in Abilene. It's the end of the trail for the cattle drives from Texas. The ranchers sell their longhorns here and pay off their cowhands here. Now, we want you to ride herd on them, but not too hard.
How hard?
Enough to cool them down, but not so much to discourage them into taking their business elsewhere.
You see, they're a wild bunch, and you have to allow for a reasonable amount of racket and rumpus.
You haven't met these gentlemen. Mr. Steed runs our principal mercantile establishment.
I specialize in guns and coffins. Gets them before and after.
And Mr. Whalen is our biggest cattle buyer.
Who else am I working for?
You're talking to the ones that count.
Come on, we'll show you around, help you get started.
You're forgetting something, Marshal. Your gun, or guns, as the case may be. According to the papers, you threw a lot of lead up in Wyoming.
That's right, Mr. Steed. I threw a lot of lead. Some of it hit the wrong man.
Well, sometimes that can happen.
Well, I don't want any more sometimes. They hung a badge on me up in the Bear River country because I used to be a cop in New York. And then I forgot what I'd learned walking a beat in the Bowery. I don't care whether you call him a cop or a marshal. A man who's hired to protect the public has no right to elect himself judge or jury.
Well, this is a gun town, Marshal.
And it will be, as long as you hire guns and hang badges on them.
We didn't send all the way to Wyoming to hire a fist fighter.
Well, there's nothing in this that specifies a gunslinger. I'll show myself around town, save you gentlemen the trouble.
I'm not polite, Mr. Smith. I listen to hear what's none of my business. You be a big, brave, no-gun marshal. But you're going to get yourself killed. You're a fool, Mr. Smith.
boy. Who you tell him go away? I'm telling you. Come on.
Wait a minute. Come on, I'll buy you both a drink. Wait a minute. You got nothing against him. He's just...
Ah, get out of the way.
You picked him. He's all yours.
Are you all right?
Why wouldn't I be?
You could have gotten shot by accident.
When it happens to you, won't be any accident. Look, why do you suppose everybody's leaving? Get out of line of fire when the lead starts flying at you.
Those trail tramps won't be back. They didn't want a gunfight. They just wanted somebody to give them an excuse to call it off.
But it comes easier after the first few times. Nate Bender's up to number 10.
Well, he's not going to fatten his reputation killing an unarmed man. He might even get hung. He'll think about that.
You marked him with your fists. You knocked out all he had to brag about. That's what he'll think of. And if he doesn't get you, somebody else just like him will. Won't you please stop trying to prove whatever you're trying to prove and go get yourself a gun? No, I guess you won't. And I'm the fool for even asking.
Going back to your beat, officer? I mean, Marshal. Good luck.
Prentice decided we might as well close up for the night, since you scared off all the customers.
I gather Mr. Prentice is disappointed in the man from Bear River.
Anything that cuts his profits disappoints Mr. Prentice.
You know, I was in the war a few years ago. They taught us that a moving target is harder to hit. Shall we walk while we talk?
Don't tell me you're starting to do a little worrying on your own.
Well, I worry. Any cop does.
But you're not a cop. This isn't the Bowery in peaceful little old New York.
Whoever told you that it was peaceful on the Bowery?
Well, it must be a lot more so than Abilene.
Look, I wouldn't want you to get in any trouble with Mr. Prentice on my account.
Never mind about him.
Mind about you?
Why?
Job?
Oh, I hate my job. Hate myself for even working at it.
Well, we all do what we have to do. It's what it does to us that makes the big difference.
Well, what do you get out of wearing a badge?
I'll never get rich at it.
Then why?
Well, a girl asked me that once, and she's the reason I quit walking my beat in the Bowery.
At least you listened to her.
I listened, but she didn't. She couldn't understand that once a man learns he was born to be a cop, that's what he's going to be from there on out.
I'm back to why again?
When you wear a badge, it marks you with a brand that won't come off. She married a fellow with a nice, safe business, selling shoes. Nice fellow.
You're always so polite. Don't you ever get mad at anything or anybody?
I get mad when a man gets mad with a gun in his hand.
Just stand there and be a target. Just stand there. That could have been one of those trail tramps, or Nate Bender, or some gunslinger you'll never even live to see. And you won't even wear a gun. You're gonna wind up dead, just trying to prove that you're right and the whole world is wrong.
Millie?
Oh, Mr. Smith. Marshal. What was all the shooting about last night?
Why, this boy you asleep?
I got up and took a look.
No.
Come on inside, Marshal. You're causing quite a stir around town.
Now, is that good or bad?
Depends on who you ask.
What's your opinion?
I think the one in the corner's just about your size.
Looks pretty comfortable.
Looks pretty comfortable, he said. I like a man that's got a sense of humor.
Thanks.
But you ought to be interested in before, not after.
What do you mean, before?
We had a gambler here in Abilene a while back. He died suddenly. Lead poisoning. And this was the extra ace he had up his sleeve that he didn't play quite quick enough. Now, you can go right on being the no-gun marshal as far as anybody's concerned. But when the chips are down, somebody will get an awful shock.
You mean he'll get killed?
He won't stay healthy. Take off your coat, try it. Well, with that badge on, it's all legal.
Oh, sure, it's legal, all right.
Then what's your objection?
Well, I thought I made that clear to you and Mr. Whalen and Mr. Prentice.
Made what clear, Mr. Smith? That you were determined to be a hero instead of what you were hired for?
Well, I think I'm doing my job in accordance with the terms of the contract.
You're not being paid to chase cash business out of town.
Well, that's making it plain, all right. You don't want law and order.
I didn't say that.
What did you really do up in Wyoming? Fight? Or just talk yourself up to the newspapers? Can you even handle a gun?
Would you step back, Mr. Prentice? There's bound to be another crooked gambler coming along. You can sell that, too.
Well, you hired him. Now you can't fire him.
Oh, he'll quit. No man's that anxious to be a hero.
No. He won't quit. But maybe he could be got rid of.
How?
I had a candidate for the job once. You wouldn't listen. He was too expensive. But he's still available. Well, you let me handle it. This is the gentleman I've told you about. Just got in from Dodge. Sit down. I've explained the situation. There's our no-gun marshal now.
I don't imagine you allow yourself to take a drink when you're walking your beat. And you're always walking your beat. No wonder that girl in New York wouldn't marry you.
Ellie.
I got a beat of my own to walk. Say hi, man.
Well, looks like you need a little company to help you spend your money. I'm your company. Let's start spending it.
Marshal, I think it's time we got something settled. I admire a man who has the courage of his convictions, but I refuse to take any further responsibility for your bullheaded foolishness.
You mean I'm good for the law, but bad for business?
I'm not in business to go broke. However, that's not the reason why I want to call off our deal. You'll be paid for your time and trouble.
Who's the two-gun stranger at your table?
Why, he's an old friend of Mr. Steed's. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll pay you for the full 6 months that your contract calls for.
No, thanks.
Now, look here, Smith.
I like it in Abilene.
You mean you like a certain little lady? She's not good for you, Smith. And you're not right for us. Now, why don't you use your head before you get it blown off? As you will, I promise you. Smith!
Hold it right there. I said hold it.
I told you, I don't intend to be your number 10.
And I told you to crawl. And this time you'll do it. That badge don't mean a thing to me.
You're wrong.
The next one goes right through that badge.
You wanted to get rid of him.
But this wasn't my doing. He just wouldn't listen.
You just wouldn't listen. You didn't have to die. Oh, it just wasn't worth it. Oh, take your hands off of him.
You know, maybe he was right. Just a little bit too soon.
Who are you?
Why, ma'am, I reckon I'm the new town marshal. I'm kind of generally known as Wild Bill Hickok. Wild Bill Hickok. Nobody knows how many men his guns cut down before and after he took the marshal's job at Abilene the day they buried Bear River Smith. We know how Wild Bill Hickok died. Shot in the back at Deadwood in the Dakotas. In 1904 at Abilene, citizens erected a monument to Smith inscribed to a fallen hero. As Wild Bill Hickok said, maybe Bear River Smith was right. Just a little bit too soon. I'll see you again next week.